Hello and welcome to another episode of Reimagine the North with Alex Mackenzie. That's me. I am very excited today. We have a very special guest. She is the Vice President of the Prince George Roadrunners Club. She is an activist in the community and a cancer survivor. Please welcome Gillian Roberts. Gillian, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so what do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
I know, so fun, right?
Where do I begin?
Yeah, so where I usually would like to start, I guess, is because you're not originally from Prince George, right?
I'm not. I'm from Ontario, but I've lived in Prince George for 11 years now.
Yeah, and where in Ontario are you from?
I'm from London, Ontario.
Oh, no way.
Southern.
Okay, yeah.
But I also lived in Northern Ontario for 5 years because I went to school in Northern Ontario in Thunder Bay.
In Thunder Bay, okay. I've been to London. I did a show at, I'm going to butcher this, Aeolian Hall?
Ah, yes.
Does that sound right?
That does sound right.
Is that how you say it?
Yes, it is.
Aeolian Hall?
It is.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was like calling it Alien Hall and stuff. It was very fun. I really like London. I didn't realize how big London is.
It's definitely grown since I lived there, and I haven't really lived there in a very long time.
About 11 years, I'd say, at least.
Longer than that, because
right, you went to school.
So it's been a long time since I've actually really been there, and I probably don't know much about kind of the city anymore, to be honest, but I know it's grown a lot. And my parents live there, and my brother lives there.
Because it is actually, I think it's the 5th largest city in Canada.
Is it? Okay,
well,
I'm learning something new today.
I didn't know that. I didn't know either. I thought it was like, I'm like, oh, London. It sounds like Prince George. I know they have the London Knights hockey team, and I'm like playing in, the CHL. So I figured that. But don't worry, you don't need to know about London because this podcast isn't about London.
It's not about London.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. We're about Prince George. So tell us, how did you end up in PG?
Sort of two reasons. One, my now husband, boyfriend at the time, got a job in forestry here.
Okay.
And then I was like, cool, I guess I'll try to move there too. And then I got a job here. So first him, then a job, and then now we're here. So I kind of thought that maybe we'd test it out and see how it went and try for a couple years to live here and see how it went. And then like if there was another place that was more gonna suit our needs, we'd move. But we've just totally fallen in love with Prince George and the community and our friends and the people, and just the affordability and the accessibility that is offered to us here, and just the quality of life that has created for us. We are still here.
Yeah, I think those are all like major points. I noticed that a lot about the North, like Prince George, with the cost of living.
Yeah.
Like everyone I talk to who moves away from Prince George, they always end up coming back and they're like, oh, it's so expensive everywhere else. And your quality of life that you can live here and still have access to everything. Like it's not, it's a big enough town or city that we have everything, but it's small enough, it's very affordable. And hopefully it stays that way.
Exactly.
So let's not make it sound too good because we don't want everyone coming here and jacking up the prices, having a hard enough time finding a spot to park my RV. So, yeah. So then you came here. What did you go to school for?
So I took my undergrad is in outdoor recreation, parks, and tourism, which is a super fun degree. It's like the most fun degree you can take. Yeah. Because I got to do lots of fun trips and stuff like that. But then I also took a bachelor's of education. So I am now a teacher.
Oh, nice. And what are you teaching?
I teach grade 4.
Grade 4? So you have to teach everything?
I teach everything, yes.
Right. And how long have you been teaching for?
I guess 10 years now. So I taught PE for a while, which was really fun, but very exhausting.
Specifically PE?
Just PE.
What grade?
K to 7.
They have specific PE teachers for elementary?
Not in the public schools.
Oh, okay.
I work in a private school.
Okay, nice. What school do you teach at?
St. Mary's Elementary.
Oh, no ways. That's awesome. Oh, I probably saw you on the thing. I was
on the thing.
On the thing. Yeah, there you go. The sad note. I had a funeral there a couple weeks ago at St. Mary's, and we were looking at the board, and there were all the teachers.
Yes, I am on
and
that
you were
board.
on there.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Because I think that would be the funnest job would be PE.
It was fun, definitely it was fun, but it wasn't terribly sustainable, I felt, for myself. Because it's loud And so you listen to screaming 6 hours a day, and you basically and you scream 6 hours a day.
It's like being in an insane asylum for kids.
Yeah, it's very
like the one time where they just let the kids off the leash too, right?
It's
so
very
you're just in there
overstimulating.
and these kids are, oh my God.
Yeah.
That does sound chaotic now that you say that.
Yeah, so like it was fun, and at the end of the day, it was like I got to play all day and teach sports, which I love sports, and I love having an outlet for helping people be active. But age 5 to age 12, 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, I just couldn't see that I could sustain that for an entire career.
Right.
I was like, I would get home and I would just be so tired. And so I went into the classroom, and it's a little more of a balanced day, I find.
Yeah. You can play when you want to play kind of thing.
Sure, but then there's also quiet times that are, it's just a much more sustainable life.
Yeah. Do you find, so you've been teaching for 10 years, is that right?
Yeah.
Has the introduction of cell phones really changed that? Like what's it like in the classroom?
I don't see it in the classroom. My students are 9, and if they have phones, I don't really see that in my classroom. Like it's not like an issue in my classroom because they don't bring them to school, or I never had them in the classroom. But I can't say that I haven't seen the effects of technology in my students' lives on their ability to learn and their attention span.
Ooh, that's what I was gonna ask you. What made you decide to do like private school over the public school education?
I didn't really decide. It was kind of out of necessity. So when I moved here in 2014, this public school board was on strike.
Okay.
And I couldn't get a job there. But I am Catholic, and I went to Catholic school as a kid, and so I was like, sweet, I'm going to private school.
And the line.
But you know what? Like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. It's a fantastic school, fantastic board.
I heard that they're getting
very supportive.
That like the backlist to get into those schools is getting pretty big now.
We often have wait lists.
Like a lot of people are wanting to switch over from the public to the private now. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. Nothing against public schools for sure. I love public education. But
I mean, look, that's what got me here in this chair, you guys. I mean, go to public school, that's how you become a comedian.
There you go.
There, yeah, just silly
You've
man.
lived life.
Yeah, exactly. Got bullied people. It was good. Cool. What was I going to say? So, your school, Catholic, you survived cancer. I don't know how to bring this up.
I mean, sometimes you just got to like just dive right into it. You
Yeah.
know? Sometimes there's no good segue.
Yeah. And so what type of cancer did you have?
So in 2019, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
Okay.
So I was 28 years old. And and the year before that, I actually had a benign ovarian tumor.
Right.
So I was 26 when that happened, and I got just the ovary taken out.
Yeah.
And then I went back to work and continued to live my life. And then in 2019, I was experiencing some of those like same symptoms I'd been having the year previous.
Yeah. What are the symptoms? Like, what do you notice?
So with ovarian cancer, the main symptoms, they're very subtle, which is really tricky because there are things that people would often just like kind of shove aside and kind of like disregard.
Right.
So I was like getting bloated, but then the bloating wasn't going down. Right?
Okay.
My stomach was being compressed by my tumor in my ovary, so I was getting full really quickly. And then other things like just like general abdominal pain, lower back pain, pelvis pain.
Oh no.
Like
I have all of those.
No.
Do you think I have ovary cancer?
No.
Oh man.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Maybe no one's told this before, but you don't have ovaries.
Really? Oh, see what a great design I have. They took mine out preemptively so I wouldn't get the cancer.
There you go. But yeah, so I went back in, and then I had a tumor on the other ovary.
Right.
And then I got a full hysterectomy because it also had spread to my uterus. So I got everything taken out.
Right.
And then I went into chemo. So I did chemo for 6 months. And then in 2021, I was like technically in remission care. But I was still like getting monitored regularly. But at that point, they had determined they had no evidence of disease, is what they call it. I know that people like to say cancer-free, but that's like not technically what it's called.
Yeah.
And then in 2022, I had a reoccurrence. So I had a tumor on my where was it? My bladder
Oh my goodness.
and my pelvis, like the pelvic floor where like the vaginal cavity was like
Right.
closed. And I went in, got those two tumors taken out, and then jumped back into life again. Like, hope we're done now.
Yeah, that's got to be like exhausting, like especially like the roller coaster going
Yes.
from 2016 with it being
Yeah.
benign. That's
Yeah.
probably like the greatest news, right? You're like, oh, it's benign.
It was,
like,
yeah, like
such a
learning that it was
relief.
benign. Honestly, like at that moment when I had that first benign tumor, I legitimately thought when I got through that, this is going to be the greatest fight of my life, and it's over now.
Right.
That was my mindset. I've like, I've conquered it.
Yeah.
This was my greatest fight I will experience in my life. I am past it. We can move forward now. Little did I know all of this was still ahead of me, because my story is still not over.
Yeah.
Because then in 2023, I was diagnosed with metastatic cancer.
Okay, what is that?
So metastatic cancer is when your cancer has exited the place of origin.
Ooh, okay.
So because I no longer have my ovaries, which is where the place of origin was, they defined the place of origin for my cancer, the pelvic area.
Right.
So I have a tumor in my pelvis, I have 3 tumors on my liver, and I have 3 tumors on my lungs.
Right now.
Right now.
As we're talking.
As we're talking.
Oh my God.
Yes. So because it's like exited into like other regions of my body, that's what classifies it as metastatic. So basically, they had to figure out like what the best course of action was, and they determined it to be non-operable. So they were not wanting to operate because it was in so many different areas. It was too risky and it didn't make sense to operate. So they were trying to figure out what other kind of like pathways could work for me. And it was like a very scary moment of my life because I had to just sit and wait
Oh, of course, yeah.
and not know what was going on. So I went to Spain and
Okay.
Portugal.
Yeah, take a break. You're
Yeah.
like, get me out of here. I want to go
So we
dance.
went traveling
Yeah.
and ate a bunch of food and went
get some Latin
surfing.
rain on
Yeah,
ya.
went surfing.
Yeah.
And then I was very, very lucky because they found a drug trial that I was going to be a candidate
You do
for.
drugs.
Yes, every day, twice a day.
Jeez. Okay. Well, we're learning. I mean, I
know.
thought the Catholic in you would not have you doing the drugs, but all right, we've got a drug user on the show.
Yeah, so it's like basically a class of drug that like I'm not going to explain this very well. My
No, that's
doctor
okay.
friend always corrects me in how I talk about it. Like I always like say it's one thing. He's like, no, Jillian, it's actually something
You
different.
know what I find
Anyways.
anytime I try to explain anything? I'm like, I don't know anything. I'm just regurgitating
I
what I
know.
said. I'm
I'm
like, I'm
like,
just
this
trying to
is-
say the words in the right order.
This is how I
and I don't
understand
understand it. So anyway, explain the
Like I
drugs you
basically
use.
have like a genetic mutation that causes my cancer, and my drug basically attacks the genetic mutation in my body that is wanting to create the cancer. That's like the best way I can
Okay, say it
describe
one
it as
more
a
time.
non-doctor.
You have a genetic
mutation
Yeah,
that is causing my cancer.
right.
So then this drug attacks the genetic mutation.
Oh, nice. Get them at the source.
This is the best way I can describe
Right,
it.
so there's a little guy driving around your body,
Yes.
making little cancer spots, and
There
the
we go.
drug is in like hopefully a faster car, and he catches up to him and pops his tires.
I really wish it was that cool.
Yeah, right? Maybe you got like a cool little like action movie going on inside your body right now.
Right? There we go. I
Yeah.
should explain it that way.
Yeah, that's a really cool way of looking at it, right? And then your
Yeah.
guys, you just got to get 'em better guns.
There
So
you go.
how long have you been on the drug now?
In November, I'll have been on this drug for 2 years.
And
So far, all of my tumors have shrunk even just a little bit.
oh man,
Yeah. Even just tiny percentages.
right, of course, yeah.
But it's still like good progress, and it still shows evidence that like I can continue taking this drug and my tumors aren't growing, which is really the goal.
Right.
For me to be able to continue to live the most normal life that I can live as someone with cancer,
Yeah.
right?
Wow, that's amazing. You
Yeah.
seem like you're in very good spirits. How do you maintain you're so dapper? How do you do that?
Oh my gosh. I wish I knew the answer to that.
Yeah.
Probably some of it over the years is a defense mechanism, I'm sure.
Right, like just like
Just
don't.
me reverting to like who I am naturally and like not being down in the dumps, because being down in the dumps sucks and it's
Yeah.
just really hard to live like that.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is like counseling and seeking professional mental health, like,
Right.
advice and all that.
Yeah.
And then part of it is just like finding good outlets in my life for bringing me happiness, and joy, and purpose. Like work gives me purpose, right? And gives me something to do every day.
And then I imagine the running.
Yes.
is
This
probably a very
gives me
big part.
purpose as well.
With the mental health, you can use the TELUS My Health app. That's TELUS. Go to My Health, use their app. You can get therapy done right there. So if you get cancer, like Gillian, TELUS My Health. This is a TELUS podcast. They're going to love that.
They're going to love that.
Yeah, we're promoting their stuff. We're so good.
Amazing.
And then you have to find an outlet. So did you run? So you're the vice president of PG Roadrunners Club. Did you run pre-cancer?
Yes.
Okay, so you've always been a runner.
Yes.
All right. How old were you when you started running?
I'm not entirely sure. Both of my parents were runners. I grew up in a running family.
I've been running my whole life, dog.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Like I have pictures of my mom running races and I'm in the running stroller.
Oh, wow.
So it's just hard to know exactly when I really did start running, but my dad in London, he used to own a multi-brand running store, like Stride and Glide here in Prince George, where they multi-brands, right?
Yeah, right. I get it now.
Yeah, and he put on races for the community. So when I was little, would do like the kids races.
Right.
And then I did cross country in elementary school and track and field. And then when I was in high school and university, I started wanting to get into the longer things like doing 10Ks and half marathons. And then I started being interested in triathlon and started biking more. And I was already swimming as a kid too. So that worked really nicely together.
And you've completed a triathlon before?
Yes, I've done a couple.
A couple?
Yeah.
How many's a couple?
I'm not even sure. A large handful.
Oh, really? Like more than two?
Yeah.
You've done more than two triathlons.
For sure.
And a triathlon, and I'll take a shot at it, but I'm probably going to be wrong.
Okay.
So 4-kilometer swim? Or is it 2?
Well, it depends on the length of the triathlon.
Okay.
The triathlon comes in many lengths.
Shoot, okay. Because I know it's swimming, running, and cycling.
Correct.
And you always start with the swimming first.
Switch the cycling and running, but then
running you always end, right? You know how I can always remember the order? Because I'm like, swim first, because you don't want fatigued people in the pool. Like they're going to drown at the end. So when you see the people like scraggling across the finish line at the end, you're like, picture that in the water. No. Not going to be good. So you're like, get the swimming out of the way right at the start. And then the cycling, I always remember, is in the middle because of seeing the people stumbling at the end for the dramatic finish, you know, where you're like, you don't want the cycling guy dramatically finishing. You want to see the person who falls and is crawling to get across the finish. It's a TV thing for sure. Very exciting.
You think that's the logic?
Yeah.
I've never thought about the logic before.
I don't think that's the logic.
Now I'm wondering.
I think the swimming is for sure. I think you like swim first so they don't drown. But the running probably just makes sense, right? To have at the end, because
I have no idea.
If you fall at the running, you just fall on your side.
I'm really wondering now.
If you fall off the bike, it's like a crash, you know? Okay, so they do all different lengths of the thing.
Yeah.
And with the running, so you do all of it. The thing I want to ask is, what makes a good runner?
Oh my gosh. That's a really hard question. What makes a good runner?
Like, do you look at any like elite runners? Like I follow hockey players, you know, and I look at that. Do you know any like elite runners that you're like, oh, did they have this trait that makes them better? Like, are they tall and thin? Are they short and stocky? What?
Again, there's many types of running. So sprinting, long distance, there's so many different.
Okay, let's talk long distance.
Okay.
Because that's, my brother's actually getting into running.
Yeah.
He really likes running. I should introduce him to you so he can join your Roadrunners Club.
You should.
Because he was running like 10K a day until he had a herniated disc in his back.
Oh, no.
And now he can't run, but he's very sad. But he wants to run again later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what makes a good runner? Form. Having good form. It's tough because running comes in, people can be good at running with many different skills and abilities that they come to, right? Like if you're looking at elite running though, like for sure there's physical qualities and things that they do that like will be a common denominator throughout that.
Right.
But like,
does having a low body fat percentage, that's probably a big one, right? Because the more weight you're carrying, it'll be like harder to run.
I guess so, but like,
do you need big strong legs?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I'm really hesitant to say because like for me in the work that I do in the community is like, I just want everyone to run.
Yeah, everyone can run.
Like,
that's like, what's the guy, Ratatouille?
Yes.
Where he's like, everyone can cook.
Everyone can cook.
Everyone can run.
I'm like Gusteau from Ratatouille.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Pixar. I love that you brought up Pixar.
Oh, I know.
It's
Dude,
like
they're
my
the best,
favorite.
right?
It's
They're my favorite. One of their like animated shorts made me quit my job. They
Really?
had like an animated short. I forget what it was called, but like, sometimes they have like those 5-minute ones, like a little thing. They had one, and it was the guy, it was called maybe Inside, it's not Inside Out, but it's like that idea. So it's all the guy's organs.
Oh, okay.
So he wakes up in the morning and he hits his alarm clock, and then you see his lungs are like, they take a big breath,
Yeah.
and then it's like his bladder, he has to drain it, and then he's in the shower, and it's constantly a battle. The little 5-minute short, there's no talking, but it's his heart and his head.
Okay.
And his heart is singing in the shower. He's like, da 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 da, singing. And then his head then zooms out and goes, oh, pictures him slipping on a bar of soap, falling, pulling like the alarm clock or the radio into the shower with him getting electrocuted, him dying.
Oh my gosh.
So then his brain is like, hey, heart, quit singing. And he's like, oh, sorry. And then just like washes his body. And then like they're walking to the store, and then the heart sees a guy eating or walking to work, and the heart sees a guy eating like a big thing of pancakes.
Yeah.
And then the heart's like, "Ooh, we want those." And then the brain pictures him getting obese, dying, and then it's like, "No pancakes."
Oh my gosh, just catastrophizing everything.
Yes, and so it's your brain like fear, like everything's gonna end in death and suffering. And his heart is like, "But no, I want to do these
wanna
things."
live.
Then he saw a guy like on a surfboard. He wants to go surfing, but a shark eats him, and he's like, "Nope, don't surf."
So that made you quit your job because you like wanted to follow your heart?
Yes, I'm like, my brain is telling me, I'm like, if I quit my job to do comedy, I'm gonna starve, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna end up homeless on the streets.
Right.
And then my heart is like, no, dude, we're gonna be fine. Like,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a pretty good thing. What about, we'll go back to writing.
Okay.
How is has your faith played into you having cancer? Like being a Catholic?
Sometimes in a positive way, sometimes in a negative way.
Right. I find that interesting. I'm just getting into like Christianity. So I've been like probably about 2 years. I was always a universe guy.
Okay.
So I'd always be like, dear universe. I'd pray to the universe and all that. And then I started, met some people who were very successful and became mentors and introduced me to God. And then I started like talking to God. But I do find exactly kind of what you're saying, where it can be like, because you can almost take it any way you want. You'd be like, why me? Why are you doing this?
For sure. And like faith is a relationship.
Right.
Right. So you have to nurture it and you have to work on it. And sometimes you can feel like faith lets you down.
Right.
And sometimes you can feel like faith is there for you.
Right.
So in a lot of aspects of my life, I've been in places where I'm like, why this? Why me? Why is this what is the plan for me?
Right.
And then I really struggle with that for sure, off and on, and I have my moments with it, absolutely. But in the end, I just keep coming back to like finding bits of joy in my life, and then like the universe giving me joy and me being able to spread that joy, and that gives me, moments of where I do feel those good moments of my faith of like, look at what the world has for me, look at the things it's giving to me, and so again, it is a relationship in the sense that there's positives and negatives, and there's struggles, and there's it's not going to be like roses all the time, right? Like
well, I mean, you getting I don't know how to word this nicely, but
just
like
say it. Just say it. It's okay.
Just you getting cancer, like you are so valuable to this community here in Prince George. Like I'm extremely inspired sitting across from you right now.
Thank you.
And you going through cancer is probably a catalyst for you being such a positive impact in the community.
For sure. I was kind of like on that path before that. Like I started working with the Prince George Roadrunners in 2016. So that was 2 years before my first surgery.
Right.
So like I already was kind of starting
Great. So you would have done this anyway.
Things. I maybe would have done them anyways, but would it have ended up the same? Would I have had as deep of an impact?
Right.
Would it have had as a deep of impact on me?
Yeah.
That's the question too, right? Like something I say all the time is like, because, my running community is doing so well, it's grown hugely, not just because of me, but because of my whole team of people that I work with, right? And all the work we've done. But like, we're so proud of the work we've done. And we're always patting ourselves on the back, you know, oh, look at what we've done, look what we've done. And we always have to remember, we're not doing this for ourselves.
Right.
We're doing this for other people. But honestly, that is like, I get so much satisfaction from that.
Right.
Right. And like seeing, like, for example, if I think about my run group last night and I think about like, okay, 2025, I'm coming to the end of my 10th year of leading run groups. I've been leading this Wednesday night run group at the Aquatic Center for 10 seasons now.
Right.
And I used to be ecstatic to get 5 people coming. I would be so happy that I had 5 or 10 people coming. I had 50 people at my run group last night.
That's amazing.
And I have multiple run group leaders helping me every week, and we have multiple groups, and we're splitting up into multiple smaller sections, right? So that we can just really cater to every single person and make sure that everyone is getting what they need and everyone's coming away with a positive experience and everyone's coming away with like, yeah, I felt like I was taken care of and I felt like I want to come back to this community, and I feel like this community is filled with people who care about me and want me to enjoy running. Like, that is my goal.
Yeah.
And I am seeing that time after time, and I keep patting myself on the back, but then I keep saying, but it's not about me.
Right.
It's about them.
That's it. I think
about those people.
That's a weird, I don't know if a paradox is the right word, but same thing. I think anytime you're doing like an act of service, you end up in that loop, right?
Yes.
Because like
it's
that's
for
how
them, but I also get something
exactly.
out of it.
That's how I feel with
out of it.
like comedy. Like when I
Yeah.
first started comedy,
Yeah.
people ask why I do it, and I would say, I want to just spread joy. I'm like,
Yeah.
in that moment, if I can make somebody laugh, I'm like, when they're in that moment where they're truly laughing, I'm like, it doesn't matter what's going on at home, what they're going through, anything, in that moment, they're happy. And I want to give that to people.
Yeah.
And it sounds so altruistic. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, I get quite a bit from it too.
Exactly,
Like I
exactly.
really like when they're laughing at me.
It does go
and so
both
then you're like,
ways.
how
It does
does
go
this?
both ways.
But then it like
Yeah.
seems to be a push and a pull. But I think, yeah, it's like you're saying, like what do they call it? A symbiotic relationship,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Where it's like
Yeah.
does both things.
Yeah.
And so it's been growing year over year. So that's very exciting. So Aquatic Center, where do you run? Like just
I have multiple routes that we do.
like you mean you meet at the Aquatic
Yeah,
Center and then
yeah.
you run outside?
Yes, we run
I'm like,
outside.
okay, I'm like just doing laps of the pool.
No,
Like,
no.
oh, one day we'll get in there.
I just like I put my meeting spot as the Aquatic Center way back when because
Well, it's got a big parking lot.
Yeah, it has a big parking
There
lot.
you go. So you'd have room for expansion. You're like,
Yeah.
there's 5 people now, but one day.
There's bathrooms, so I was
Right.
like, okay.
Yeah.
And also it was like a central location, so I just thought it was a good spot.
Yeah, that's
And
very
then I
good.
just made lots of routes
And it's
around
far
there.
away from all the fast food chains, so then you're not tempted to get a.
I mean, there's a Domino's right down the street, but we won't talk about that.
Oh no, really? Oh yeah, there is, right? Just on Ospika. Oh, do you know what I made the other day? Oh, that protein pizza. Have you ever seen these?
No.
Because I did that water fast and I was so hungry, and then I just started getting on my feed all of these like protein dishes, like just the cooking things. And I'm sitting there, I haven't eaten in 14 days. I'm just watching cooking recipes,
That would
starving.
drive me crazy.
But there's a protein pizza. You can do that. What you do is you take ground chicken
Okay.
and you crack 2 eggs in it and you put some Parmesan cheese, and that makes your
Oh,
crust.
yes, I have seen that.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
It is phenomenal. I made it the other day.
Interesting.
It
Interesting.
is so good. And it's like
Okay.
170 grams of protein and like
Wow.
1,300 calories.
That's insane.
You're going to love it. It's great.
I'm actually a vegetarian, but
Oh,
if I wasn't a
great.
vegetarian, I would love it.
Well, perfect. I know. I feel so bad.
It's okay.
Because I'm like, you know the amount of stuff that has to die to keep me alive?
It's
Like,
okay.
I
Don't feel bad.
I eat like a kilogram of meat a day. Like
all
it is
good.
so bad. I just eat it and eat. I just can't help myself.
It's okay.
Yeah, thanks. Were you vegetarian before?
So
Or was
actually,
that after the
that kind of
diagnosis?
is related to cancer.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I actually had thought about being a vegetarian for like a really long time. I always wanted to try it. I was always interested in it.
Yeah.
And I was interested in it for 2 reasons. Like, one, environmental sustainability and just like having less impact on the world, which I mean, it's so hard to lessen our impact on the earth because like literally everything we do has an impact on the earth. It's insane. But I just thought like, oh, that would be a thing you could do. I think I could do that to have an impact in the world.
Right.
And then also just like ethical love for animals.
Yeah.
You know, that was also my like, it really hurts my heart when I eat an animal
Of
and I'm
course.
okay if other people do it, but I just don't love it. And I
Yeah.
thought about it for a long time, but I just wasn't brave enough to just like do it.
Right.
And then in 2020, I just finished chemo. We were in lockdown, and I was just like, I'm doing it. I'm going to be a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And then I've been a vegetarian ever since.
Oh, it's amazing.
So yeah, and I really enjoy it. And actually, I've actually enjoyed cooking so much more since becoming a vegetarian because I had to like learn so much.
Right.
Yeah. So I just enjoyed learning about new ingredients and new ways to cook and new ways to eat, and it just fascinated me, and I just really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, I think learning is so fun, right?
Well, that's why I love being a teacher, because I do love to learn.
Yeah. Because that's what I always found with anything. Once I feel like I've learned it, it becomes boring.
Sure.
You know, you're like, I went to school, so I did like my power engineering, which was it's just like a 18-month program through the mill to become a power engineer to work in the steam plant. And that was very exciting. Like I got to go to BCIT and do some schooling, and I'm like, this is so cool. Then you finish the program, and then you're working, and I was like, this is it now? Like you just were? I'm like,
this is
30
all
years?
I signed up for?
Like, no way. Yeah. And then same thing, then I took a trade. Then I was like, okay, I'll do instrumentation. And that was a 4-year apprenticeship program. Very fun the whole time. You're learning, going to school, exciting. As soon as I finished, within 6 months, I'm like, dude,
So it just sounds like you're a learner then.
Yeah. And that's why I think I love comedy so much, because it's like every 6 months I look and I'm like, dude, you're so much better. And you're just constantly learning. And the biggest thing about it, I find, is like self-discovery. You know, like every day I get to wake up and write. I go, who is Alex Mackenzie?
Right.
And what is it like to be Alex Mackenzie?
Right. And what stories can I tell?
Yeah.
And how can I find humor in that?
Yeah. And you learn so much about you, because I'm like, oh, this happened. And how did that make me feel? What does that say about me? And like,
right. Oh,
so
that's
then,
really interesting.
Yeah, it's very revealing to yourself. There's a really cool Macklemore quote. He's my favorite guy in the world.
Okay.
And he says, there's no shortcuts in the craft, because the craft is actually just a path to discover you. Okay. So whatever your craft is just the path for you finding yourself.
That's really interesting.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. But we were saying something before that where I got really sidetracked.
It's okay.
The old ADD. I know you were saying something cool though.
Was I saying something cool?
Yeah, what were you learning about?
Vegetarian cooking.
Vegetarian cooking, right.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hear you. I think it's very admirable. That's something that's changed with me over the years. When I was younger, I wouldn't eat game meat because I thought hunting was bad.
Okay.
But I would eat processed. Like I had no problem eating that. And then as you get older, you learn
it's actually kind of opposite.
Opposite. You're like, hunting is probably the best way.
Probably a little more sustainable.
Yes, and like the most ethical way. Like if I want to be a meat eater, I probably should go in the woods and get my meat rather than. But the thing is, I am a coward. I couldn't kill anything. Like if I shot something, I would just like, what did I do?
Yeah,
I am so sorry, man.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it would hurt. But yeah, that's how I know I'm a coward, because I'm like, I will have no problem eating all the meat, but I could never look the animal in the eye.
It's okay. I'm sure many people are on the same page as you on that for sure.
Yeah. So. Is your partner, is there a husband?
Yes.
Yeah. Is he vegetarian?
No.
No. What's that like?
It's actually not too bad. He really loves eating vegetarian. So he actually he doesn't classify himself as a vegetarian, but he eats mostly vegetarian because that's just what we eat at home.
Because you cook for him?
Just because we eat at home.
Okay.
And like we don't really want to like make 2 meals.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and we share the cooking pretty well.
That's what I always wonder.
Yeah.
I was like, anytime I meet someone now, the 2 things, like I'm a single dude, if I'm dating and I'm looking for a partner, the 2 things I want to know, I'm like, I don't care if we both like paddleboarding.
Right.
I'm like, what I care about is what time do you go to bed?
Okay.
And what do you eat?
What do you eat? Is it going to jive with me?
Because those are going to have a way bigger outcome on whether or not this relationship works than if we both like paddleboarding.
Right,
you know?
right.
And it's because I pictured that with dating a vegetarian or a vegan.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, every day at dinner time it's going to be a fight.
It could be challenging. I think maybe my husband would disagree with me, but I think I'm a very flexible person.
Yeah.
Also, I do have my stubborn moments, which he would definitely attest to. But like there's times when we will kind of make 2 versions of something if he really wants. Say like we'll make a stir fry and I'll make like veggies, rice, chicken, and tofu, and then we just put our own thing together, right? So it's like not too hard.
Yeah, because my parents do that now that I think of it. Like my mom doesn't eat meat,
right?
And my dad does, and then a lot of time my dad will just cook the meat separate.
Sure, but at the same time, like he does eat like probably 80% vegetarian just because it's just what we're making and it's just easier and he likes it.
Yeah.
You know?
I like,
Yeah.
is she trying to convince me or
Yeah, no,
herself?
no.
Like, she's like, it's because it's what we make and
It's just what
he
we
likes
make.
it. Like, he really does.
He does.
Like, okay, he likes it.
But then when we go out, he's like, oh, if I want a burger, I'm getting a burger.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Totally fair.
And do you think, like, has it helped with the cancer?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
tell, right?
Like I've talked to, I had a cancer dietitian and actually a friend of mine who's a oncology dietitian. I talked to her about it. And she said like there really isn't like a huge amount of evidence that being plant-based has any correlation to cancer. I mean, it doesn't hurt, like, you know, and I didn't really do it because I was like, it's going to make my cancer go away or it's going to make my cancer not come back. Like that wasn't really my goal. It was more just like, I've had this big thing happen in my life and I want to do this thing I've always wanted to do. Like, it was kind of the catalyst for just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to seize the day. I'm going to do the thing I want to do. Yeah. Like you with being like, I'm going to be a comedian and we're just going to do it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Right. Like, which is a much bigger step than me changing what I eat.
No,
but, you know.
no, that's still very big. That's a very big thing to do. It's very hard. And I like that you're doing it for ethical reasons. Sure. You know, like it's something you believe in. Yeah. I find that's something I find very off-putting with certain people when they're telling everyone else what they need to do, but they won't. You know? So like global warming stuff. Like when people are really on the global warming train, but they're not changing their life. They're just telling everyone, hey, here's everything we need to change for climate change. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, you're still driving like a jacked up turbo diesel. And like, you know, and you're like, you have just plastic bags everywhere. And so I think accountability, that's a very good, very admirable
I think we all do the things that we can do.
Yeah.
You know? So, but it was nothing like health really wise that I wanted to do it. Right. But who knows? Might have an impact. I have no idea. But,
what do you think? Do you think fasting would work? That's what I always thought to myself. I was like, if I get cancer,
I don't know.
I would do
really
this fast that I do.
Yeah.
But then I also wonder, I'm like, am I just going to die in the woods?
You might just be hungry.
Yeah, like you just fast and then you get nothing. And then it's like your body's like, dude, we have no nutrients to fight off the cancer.
That would be a good dietitian question. Right. Because I am not a dietitian.
Yeah, dude, I don't know anything. That's what I said. I just regurgitate information. I did a podcast yesterday on my fast. Okay. And like you asked me like why I do it. And I talked about autophagy on there. And I use all these words, and I always say, I don't know what any of this means. I'm just saying the words in the order that I heard them. Right, right. So I don't know. So where do you see the future of PG Roadrunners?
Oh my gosh. I see us just continuing to build the community, continuing to make changes as we see necessary to serve the community the best we can, and just continuing to create opportunities for running for people. And in the last 5 years, I've started a Learn to Run 5K clinic.
I heard of this. Yes.
So, and this was something I've done in the last couple of years because it was a gap that I saw. Yeah. Right? We kept trying to get people to come to our run groups, come to our run groups, come to our races, but the shortest we were offering was 5K. And for people who've never run before, that's a big feat. Right. Right? So that's where I saw the gap, where I saw, okay, well, what can I do to bring people from zero to being a part of our community? Right. Right. So that's why I started the Learn to Run 5K clinic. And then that's why I made my 5K run groups also out and back routes always.
So, so you end up in the same spot?
You end up in the same spot. Out and back means that you go out and you come back the exact same way you went out. Oh, okay. Because then people can go less than 5K and it's much easier to lead. So if you do a big loop, it's much harder to lead people if they get much more spread out.
If you're too exhausted, you're like, I'm just going to turn back now.
Yeah. So people always have the option at my 5K run groups that they can do 2K, 3K, 4K. They don't have to do the whole thing. Right. And it's much easier for us as the leaders to lead that and accommodate for that.
And it's probably almost easier psychologically to do that.
Sometimes people find out and back psychologically harder. Oh, really? Because they get bored and they don't want to look at the same thing again. Okay. Because I've always found... But functionally for leading, it makes it easier and more accessible. Right. Yeah.
Because I always found whenever I'm driving somewhere, like when I was younger and you would take a road trip, the drive home always felt faster than the drive there.
Right.
Because the drive there, it's
that's a
new,
good point. That's a good
right?
point.
Everything was new. So
Yeah.
you're like driving, you're like, oh, this is all new, and you're taking it all in. And then when you come back, you're like, oh, I remember this spot. Oh, that means we're getting closer to here.
Right.
We're almost, you know.
Oh, psychologically, maybe there's part of that too, yeah.
Yeah, so that
Might depend on the person.
That was
Might
just
depend on
my
the
thoughts
person.
on it, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, maybe there's a way like, you know, when you hit Quesnel, when you're driving to Vancouver, when you first leave, you're like, oh, we just left. We're in Quesnel.
Yeah.
But then when you're on your way back, you're like, Quesnel, wow, this was so close to Prince George. We're almost there.
Yeah,
You know, like you remember it
exactly.
being a very short part of the drive.
But I think I'll just keep trying to be creative and think outside the box and try to always assess the need of my community and figure out like what more I can do or what I can do better to serve them.
Yeah.
Just always looking for those opportunities.
Yeah, I have a good, perfect. I like it. I have a few
Okay.
more things. I'll let you get going
Oh,
soon because we're
no.
almost been an hour.
Gosh, it's
But,
okay.
okay, sweet. So I wanted to ask one thing. When you are doing the 5K, like how do you teach someone how do they learn? Like what is there for learning?
So
how to
we
do it?
start with like a run walk program.
Okay.
So we like walk a little bit and then run a little bit, and then slowly but surely the walk gets shorter and the run gets longer. But then also through my 5K clinic, I also teach technique and
Yeah.
form so that people have the tools in their toolkit to be able to run properly so that they can run sustainably so they cannot get hurt.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can run for longer in their life.
Yeah.
And also teaching like proper warm-ups, proper cool downs.
Have you seen Coco?
Yes.
the
Well,
Pixar?
I told you that I love Pixar. Yeah.
But when the kid is like, he's like, when you mentioned technique, it reminded me. He's like, I used to run like this,
Yes.
but now I run like this, and I'm way faster.
Precisely. Precisely. Yes.
Teaching proper technique.
Oh,
is
yeah,
is that what you do? Do you get people's hands straight?
Yeah, I break it down into the main pillars of running form. So
Okay.
posture, knee drive.
Speaking, yep.
Yeah, knee drive, arm swing, and lean.
Right.
Those are the main pillars of running form. So I break those down. We do drills. We learn about them. They get sick of me telling them to swing their arms from their shoulders. No, they don't. I'm just kidding.
Swing from the shoulders, right.
From the shoulders,
Get 'em
like a
going, like-
pendulum.
Right. Is this
Yeah.
it, or am I rolling my shoulders? Is that too much? I feel like I'm wasting a lot of energy. I feel like I'm twisting.
Yeah, you're twisting a lot.
Well,
but
I need to go like this.
I mean, you twist a little bit. You twist a little
Just a
bit.
little bit. Okay,
Just a
nice,
little bit.
perfect.
Just nice and loose.
Moving.
Nice and
this
loose.
is good. I like it. Loose.
Nice and loosey goosey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very fun.
So, but I also have a great team that helped me with that clinic too. Just other volunteers that are willing to show up with me every week, willing to share their knowledge, willing to encourage people. Like really, like a huge amount of it is purely just encouraging people, convincing them that they can do it.
Right.
Right.
Well, running is like the hardest thing in the world. Like
It's
Ivan
pretty hard,
Decker
but
has a
it's pretty
joke about
simple.
it.
Yeah.
There's a joke where he's
Okay.
like, running is the one time where he's like, the second you start, the whole time your brain is going, stop, nothing is chasing us. And then he does a funny joke about joggers. where
Yeah.
he's like, you don't want to be a jogger. Everything bad happens to joggers.
Okay.
You'll watch the news and they'll be like, a tree fell on a jogger today.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, where were the runners? They're like, oh, they ran away. They
Right.
ran out of there.
They're too fast.
He's like, you want to upgrade to a runner. You don't
Right.
want to be a jogger.
Well, it's funny because like the amount of people that come to my clinic who say I'm not a runner, and then after the first day I say no one can say that anymore
Right.
because you're all runners now because you've all done it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a big thing with like identity, right? Like people
Yeah.
just believe they're
Yes.
not the thing. And then
Exactly.
also, I know it's a lot, always I keep doing this, going back to comedy. But same
Yeah,
thing, like
no,
you
yeah.
start doing comedy and you're like,
Exactly.
oh, I'm not a comedian. You're like, dude, you got on that stage and you did the
well,
thing.
people have
We're
imposter
all-
syndrome and they don't
Right.
believe in themselves. And I've had people who've been coming to my run groups for years who will say, well, I'm not really a real runner. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You've been coming to my group for years and you're here every week
Yeah.
and you run on your own without the group.
Right.
What more do you think a runner is? That's a runner.
I know, right? I think it's any discipline that doesn't have like a reward. I don't know if reward systems, like I want to say a belt system, but that's like more
Mm. Sure.
karate, but you know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's like if you go to school to become an architect, you at the end you get a certificate being like, you're an architect.
And now this is like a fundamental part of who you are.
Yeah, is where like anything, I know it's like comedy. I was like, no one's gonna come up and just be like, you are now a comedian,
Right,
right?
right,
And
right.
it's like no
You
one's gonna
have
be
to
like, you
decide that on
are.
your own.
Yeah, and same with like running. No one's gonna be like, you're now an official runner.
Right,
It's like no,
exactly.
You are that thing.
You have to decide that on your own.
So where do you guys go in the winter?
Same places.
You run outside in the winter on the
Yeah.
ice.
Yeah.
Do we see injuries?
Not often. Not
Okay.
often.
Do you wear the suction cuppy things on your shoes?
Not suction cups, but
Spikes.
people wear spikes. Yes, they'll wear
Okay, so you
spikes.
wear-
And there's many different things you can get for the bottom of your shoes for grip. And as long as you have like safety things like that for the bottom of your shoes for grip, and you have like lots of layers, you're good.
You're fine.
We're out there.
Really?
We don't stop.
What about -20?
So the Prince George Roadrunners does have safety protocols.
Well, okay, perfect. All right.
And there are certain temperatures we don't run at, and we will cancel our run groups.
Right.
But other than that, we're out there.
Okay. What about, do you have any major run events that you do?
That we do, the Prince George Roadrunners.
like, is there certain like events throughout the year that you're
Yeah.
like, this is our big run?
So we have 9 events that we do.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you heard the Labor Day Classic,
Yeah.
that's our event. It hasn't always been our event, but it is now our event as of the last. I think we acquired that in 2019.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Beat the Bugs? That one's out in Otway.
No.
Okay. Just throwing some out there that I thought maybe you might have
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
of.
yeah. No, I like that. Beat the bugs. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like some out of like Starship Troopers.
It's
Where
yeah.
you're like, we gotta fight the bugs.
It's buggy in June out there. So
Okay, right.
that's the whole joke, right? You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
beat the bugs.
Well, and it's got good alliteration. Beat the bugs.
Exactly.
It's very, very
Yeah.
fun.
So yeah, we have 9 events from April to October.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so cool. From April to October, and
Yeah.
then you take the winter off.
We take the winter off of our events, yeah. But
Right.
our run groups continue through the winter.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, can we do an event together? We should do one.
How would we do that?
Because I do like a comedy show every November
Okay.
for Hungry for Laughs, and the
Okay.
partial proceeds go to the Hospice Society.
Okay.
And I will come and run.
Okay.
And I will run and promote the event, and then we could figure out something. Maybe everyone who runs with me gets free tickets to the show.
Okay.
Or we'll do something. That would be fun. And
We'll noodle that.
Yeah, I'll come up with a way that I could figure out how to run. You know what Kevin Hart did actually? Kevin Hart used to do a thing called Run with Hart.
Okay.
And every city he was performing in, that morning he would do a 5K run.
Oh, that's cool.
And he would just invite everyone. He's like, hey, I'm starting here downtown and we're running 5K this morning before my show.
That's sweet.
And then he'd also get groups of people. And then by the end of it, he had like 20,000 people
Oh my
following him on
gosh.
these runs,
Wow.
as he ran around.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's something there. There's something there.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. It'll be pretty good. I don't know if I could run though, but
That's
I
the
just
first
have to
step.
believe.
You got to come to my clinic.
I do. I
It's
got
not
to do
until May
your...
though.
Oh, great. Just great. Gonna have to learn how to do it. What do you think about running on a treadmill? That's like way easier, eh?
It's just different.
Because I thought I was getting good at running one time. I was running on treadmills all the time.
Yeah.
And then it was a nice day out.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going out.
Yeah.
Doing it. I made it like a block and my
Yeah.
legs were torched. And I'm like, this is so hard.
It's just a little different. Yeah.
Because on
It
the
just uses,
treadmill,
it
you're
uses
just like
some different
lifting.
muscles.
You're just lifting a leg and putting it in front of the other.
It does use some different muscles.
As
so
where when you're running outside, you're actually like propelling.
exactly. It is
yourself.
transferable, but it's not fully the same.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about
exactly.
elliptical machines? What do you think of those?
I mean, they're fine if people like them. Not really my thing. I think for me, I would prefer to be outside. I don't even really like the treadmill that much.
Right, not even a
So-
treadmill person.
I'll do it if I have to,
Okay.
but it's just like not super my jam. But the thing with me and running an activity is like I want people to do like whatever floats their boat. You know what I mean? Like if the treadmill works for you, like you go, you do it.
Yeah.
You do the treadmill.
Yeah. Do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good one. I actually closed one of my comedy specials on a thing like that where I said like, people are way too concerned with things that don't affect them.
Right.
And I was
Oh,
like,
totally.
as long as your joy doesn't come from someone else's suffering,
Oh,
like who
absolutely.
cares? Do whatever
Yeah,
you want. you know?
Exactly. No, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah. And so running. And when do you have any marathons coming up?
For me personally.
Yes.
I have nothing on my calendar right now. However, the way that I kind of do my planning right now, just being a cancer patient, is I kind of have to like not live appointment by appointment, but I sort of don't like to commit to big things before my appointments because sometimes I just like don't always know what's going to happen.
Right.
I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to that.
Right.
So I because I'm on a drug trial, I have to get monitored very closely, and I get a lot of that done here at the Cancer Center in Prince George, but I also have to go to Vancouver probably 5 to 6 times a year.
Okay.
So I'm going to Vancouver in October for my
Right.
next kind of checkup.
Right.
So I think once I get through that one and I kind of see how everything's going after that, then I might be able to kind of think about like what my 2026 goals will be and what events I might want to do. I definitely have some in mind, and I got some kind of in the back of my mind. But I've committed to things too many times only to be disappointed because I couldn't do it.
Right.
So
like making a protein pizza that's made of chicken.
Exactly.
You're like, it's chicken. I didn't know.
And I just don't want to. I don't want to go through that pain anymore.
Right.
So I'm just trying to be like smart about it too. To be like, okay, once I get through this, and then I know what's on the table after that, then I can move to this.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
my strategy.
That's very logical thinking. I like
Yes,
it. You
yes.
learned.
Yeah, I've learned.
Good.
I've
You
learned a
learned
lot.
how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I've got one more question, and
Okay.
then I'll let you go.
Okay.
All right. So this has nothing to do with anything.
Oh, okay.
But
Sure.
what is something, it's just a life philosophy, I guess.
Okay.
What is something you used to believe to be true
Oh my gosh.
that you no longer do anymore?
That is so hard. Oh
I
my
know,
goodness.
right? Just such a deep philosophical question.
Something I used to believe that was true that I no longer believe. Honestly, the first thing I can think of is that I used to believe that what I had to say didn't matter.
Right.
Like, not because I wasn't worth anything. I just thought that other people were more interesting than me. And I just thought, well, no one really cares what I have to say.
Right.
No one really cares what I have to offer. But that was just me being self-conscious.
Yeah.
And I think now I do not believe that because I have seen my worth and I have seen the impact I can make. And I've seen just that people do care about what I have to say.
Of course, yeah.
And I just believe in who I am and what I have to say so much more than I used to.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what you said on the podcast today meant a lot.
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
very inspired, and I imagine
you.
everyone who watches this will be.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad you don't feel that way anymore. Because that is like that's one of the best ones I've heard.
Oh, thank you.
That's really, really good.
That was a hard question.
Yeah.
And I just was like, don't think too hard about it, Gillian. Just the first thing that pops into your mind.
I know, right? I feel bad putting you on the spot for that
No,
too.
it's
And
okay.
it is like a tough one. And yeah, that's one of the best ones I've heard.
Oh, thank you.
Because I think that's very easy to do, is to believe that our voice doesn't matter.
Sure.
And that everyone else's does, but you never know like how big of an impact you
Totally.
have and the people you're reaching. And
I think I just, when I was younger, I just felt like I'm just this one little tiny thing. And
right.
what really can I do as just one little tiny, ant in this world?
Right.
And then you realize that, whoa, it's actually quite a lot.
Yeah. Well, and
You
like
know?
the impact you're having on the community is here in Prince George, right? Like it's a very big impact
Yeah.
that you're having. And
Yeah.
it's, I think I know when I was younger too, like I grew up here in Prince George, it's my hometown. I never thought I thought like you're too small in this big, it's not even a big city, but it's just too
Right.
big of a place that I'm like, oh, you'll never be involved in any community stuff or doing anything, because it's, yeah. But you can, and you are.
You can, yeah.
Cool. So if anyone wants to get a hold of you, wants to do any running
Yeah.
or anything, how do they do that?
So getting a hold of the Prince Road Roadrunners, we have a Facebook page, Prince Road Roadrunners Club.
Yeah.
We're on Instagram, PG_Roadrunners. We have a website, pgroadrunners.ca.
Yep.
Me personally, on Instagram, I'm cancer_triathlete.
Oh,
And
wow. Okay. You're lucky to get that one.
Anyone can look me up. I know. I mean, there's so
Right?
many of us.
Yes. I mean, who knows? That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Like, this has been so fun, genuinely.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for
Cool.
inviting me.
All right. Well, take care.
Yeah, thank you.